Now that your community has conducted an assessment to better understand the risk that it faces, it's now time to develop your action plan on how you're going to mitigate against losses. To understand the process that will occur in CHAMPS, here you can see the steps that entail creating and completing a plan from start to finish. As an example, first the manager at the state or regional level will apply the standard requirement in the Community Profile module to make local users aware of a new standard to be met. Then a template will be developed that will provide authors the ability to complete a guided step-by-step plan. Once completed, the plan will be submitted to the local administrator for preliminary review. At the local level, this person might be the chair of the local emergency planning committee or another key decision maker to sign off on the document before submittal to the state. Then the plan will be submitted for review by the CHAMPS manager at the state level that is assigned to your locality. To continue explaining this process, let's take a look at each step in a little more detail. To re-emphasize the CHAMPS roles in the Plans module, all roles will be able to view plans, while authors and above are able to create, edit, or delete templates. Local administrators, managers, and administrators may review and approve plans. Keep in mind that authors and local administrators can only create plans for their localities. Additionally, these roles and the viewer role may only be able to view published plans for their localities. Here you can see how the menus will look when you go to enter into the Plans module. Plans has two submodules, Plans Overview and the Plans Builder. The purpose of the Plans Builder is to complete a plan template through a guided step-by-step process with the help of multiple contributors. First, we're going to start with the Plans Builder, where the template will be created. As part of the first steps to developing a template, it's expected that the manager at the state level will apply the standard requirement that must be met at the local level. In this case, it is to produce a hazard mitigation plan. Then in the Plans Builder, the template will be created by following a series of steps as shown here on the screen. By completing the steps of the template builder, the components of the plan will be laid out. These components include chapters, sections, and questions that the author will have to complete. Each of the components can be reordered if desired by the person producing the template. Once the template has been created, it's now the responsibility of the author to complete the plan by using the step-by-step process that has been developed. Also, authors can grant access to other CHAMPS authors or multiple contributors that can work on the same plan. Now let's look at what type of questions an author might encounter when developing their plan. Here is shown the basic page structure one would see when developing a plan. There will be two page tabs, the Plan Information tab and the Questions Wizard tab. Below are some questions you'd be likely to see as requirements of the plan, such as, what is the name of the community the plan's being completed for? What is the mission of this plan? And who is the contact for the plan? When developing a plan, authors will also be required to enter in longer responses in paragraph form. This question is asking to provide a description of each type of natural hazard and how it affects the jurisdiction. When the author has crafted a complete and final draft of the plan, it's then time to set the status. On the last step of developing the plan, a pop-up box will appear where the author is prompted to select the status. Here they can select in development, which means the plan is currently in progress and they would like to save it for later to work on, or submitted, which means that the plan will be submitted for review by the reviewer. Then the reviewer can choose accepted if it's approved, rejected if more revisions are needed, or expired if the plan is then out of date. Once the author has submitted the plan for review, it's then the responsibility for the local administrator and the manager at the state level to review and then set the approval status once federal approval is received. On this screen here, this is showing an example of a question from an emergency operations plan. In bold at the top is the question, and below, highlighted in yellow, is the response. The reviewer would review this question, providing any comments and needed revisions in the comments box below. Then, once the review is complete, would mark that question as complete. The action items identified in your plan, whether a hazard mitigation plan, emergency operation plan, or any other type of plan, will then serve as the basis for which you will seek out mitigation activities to reduce risk and mitigate losses. Once you have requested and gained access to CHAMPS, we encourage you to take advantage of the various training materials that are available to help orient you to the system. Self-guided navigational tutorials have been developed to walk you through each step of the system. Additionally, virtual and hands-on training opportunities are available to you. To see training dates offered, go to www.kym.ky.gov and select the training menu.